Anyway, how did you start jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu? Who introduced?
Um, when I started with the Wing Chun and the Jeet Kune Do and the Kali, my instructor in Minnesota, Sifu Rick Fay, told me that, in Jeet Kune Do, the whole idea is to be well-rounded, to learn the stick fighting, the knife, the rope, the firearms, the clinch work. And having experienced all these different ranges, there was one range that I hated. It was the ground. And so I tried a little bit of shoot wrestling. I tried a little bit of judo.
Huh?
I hated it.
Why?
I don't know. I just didn't like being down there on the ground. I didn't like it.
Okay.
So one of my Jeet Kune Do instructors and grappling instructors, a gentleman by the name of Sifu Larry Hartzell, I was training with him at the Inosanto Academy. And he told me, he said, you need to become more well-rounded, I want to encourage you to learn jiu-jitsu. It's a really good ground fighting system, and you need to check it out. And I was respectful, but inside my response was, yeah. And so that was right around 1986, 1987. And so it took me all the way until January of 1991 to say, okay, I'm going to try this out. And what happened was I had come back to the Inosanto Academy to do some training, and there was a guy there who had been training with the Gracies in their garage. And we were talking about ground fighting, and, I was rolling my eyes, and he said, well, let's go outside. So we went outside into the parking lot, and we sparred. And at the time I was 208, 210 pounds. This guy was like 160 pounds. So I outweighed him by 50 pounds. He shot in, took me to the ground, mounted on top of my chest, and then slapped me in the face multiple times. And I had no idea what to do. And so I did what any person would do. I turned, went to what we call the turtle position, and tried to push myself up. And then he choked me. And I tapped.
Was that free sparring? I mean, with punches, with kicks?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And so after the sparring, I said, what was that? And he says, oh, that was Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. So I remember thinking about my conversation with Sifu Larry Hartzell, and I was like, okay, I need to check out these Brazilians and see what this art was about. And so January of 91, I went to the Gracie Academy in Torrance and started my journey with jiu-jitsu.
Did you try to punch him, kick him?
Yes.
So do you now still believe the old system? Spar.
At the core of my personality and at the core of what I do, I am a Jeet Kune Do guy first, a Kalis Ilustrisimo guy second, and a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy third.
Okay.
And so, I say I'm a Jeet Kune Do guy first because I have enjoyed my journey learning how to fight, learning firearms, learning the stick and the sword, learning how to fight with a rope, learning how to fight with a knife, the kickboxing, the clinch work, the trapping, the throws, the takedowns, the groundwork, multiple assailants, fighting 2, 3, 4 people at the same time. And then adding environmental training to this. See, this is something that a lot of people don't do today. They talk about and they argue about, oh, this style is better than that style. I say, well, let's go spar on a stairwell. And let's see how your style does on a stairwell.
Yeah.
Let's go spar in a car, and I will put you in a driver's seat, and I'm in the passenger seat, and let's spar. Have you ever done that? Most people say, no, I haven't. I have. And so because Jeet Kune Do is very flexible. What's that?
In real life, you have?
No, not in real life, in training.
Oh, in training, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So, Jeet Kune Do guy, what did you say?
So as a Jeet Kune Do guy, my goal is to be flexible and to adapt, not only in fighting, but also in life.
Okay. Yeah.
So instead of being narrow-minded and looking at only one thing in one way, I'm open to other ways, and I've been on a journey of efficiency.
Yeah.
When I find things that are more efficient than other things, I take the old things, I put them on the shelf, I don't throw them away, I put them on the shelf, and then I focus on the more efficient thing.
Yeah.
So Jeet Kune Do first, because of the mindsets and the training methods. Ilustrisimo second, because I'm a blade guy. I love swords and knives. And if I'm ever, confronted with a knife on the street, number one, I'm going to run away.
Okay.
But if I'm forced to fight because I can't run away, well, I'm okay with taking the other person's knife. I did a bunch of knife training where I spar with a person who doesn't have a knife. I have a knife, they don't have a knife. And I cut them, not once.
Ooh.
But because I have the knife in my hands, I know where their mind is, I know where their eyes are, and I know where their heart is. It's focused on the knife in my hand.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So I use it as a training method to focus all of their attention on one thing. And when they go to grab my knife, that's when my foot kicks them in the groin.
Yeah. Okay.
So, as a Jeet Kune Do practitioner, I have learned to adapt. I will hold a knife in my hand and do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. You think because of the knife that's in my hand that I'm going to be doing Filipino martial arts.
Yes, of course.
That's what I want you to think.
Yes.
But I'm going to be doing wrestling, sambo, and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah.
Because the mindsets that I've learned in Jeet Kune Do, these things guide my training and they allow me to adapt. Versus if I just had one way, like the Wing Chun way or the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu way, don't get me wrong, these are good styles, but I only have one way. If I'm doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I, A, have to take a person to the ground, and B, I have to get close to them to be able to control them and finish them with an arm lock or choke. And while that is phenomenal, the environment can dictate what you can or cannot do. And throws and takedowns are difficult to train on stairwells. They're difficult to train in a car.
Yeah.
And so the Jeet Kune Do is more about mindsets and the ability to adapt. The Ilustrisimo is more about training with an edge weapon, whether I have one or not. And then the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is just a phenomenal training method for close quarter fighting on the ground.
Yeah, so Professor, you are known
Yes.
one of the first instructors in the world to create a formal belt promotion test. Whereas usually the promotion was done based on the instructor.
Yes.
How did you come up with the idea and be brave to shut it down?
I was very fortunate to start with Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu back in January of 1991. And while I loved the art, there were two things about the art that I did not enjoy. Number one, there was never any structure to the teaching or the training. It was just a mishmash of techniques, and it was whatever the instructor wanted to focus on. And so that kind of bothered me. And then the second thing that bothered me was the favoritism that I saw from time to time with different instructors. some students were able to get rank because they were surfing buddies with their instructors, or because they went out and did other things with their instructors. And so I said some things and they weren't taken too well. So the female side of me came out, and I said, fine, I'll do it myself. So with my limited knowledge of jiu-jitsu, I decided to structure a program that, to draw an analogy, like we do in math, we start first with counting, and then we do basic arithmetic, decimals and fractions and algebra. I felt, with my limited knowledge, because I was a new black belt when I did this, I started to teach students what I felt were the simpler things, the things that they could experience success with. And then I led them through a journey that taught them some more complicated things over time. And so this way, jiu-jitsu would have a structure, mainly for those of us in jiu-jitsu who like structure, who enjoy structure, who want to have the ability to look back at what we have covered, as well as look forward to what's ahead. So I did this in the face of a whole bunch of criticism. I mean, I had people call me the Gestapo and the Jiu-Jitsu police, and who did I think I was? But I knew I was on a journey that was very close to my heart, and it was something that I had a lot of emails from people requesting that somebody put together a structured program.